ESPN presents the 1974 Final Four, featuring the Warriors of Marquette, the Kansas Jayhawks, the North Carolina State Wolfpack, and the UCLA Bruins. Hello again, I'm Bob Lee, and this year, 1974, basketball's weekend festival convened on Tobacco Road down at the Greensboro Coliseum in North Carolina, and there really was only one question going in. Would UCLA win an 8th straight title? Could David Thompson of the Wolfpack stop the Bruins? 3 months ago, the Wolfpack had suffered its only loss of the year to UCLA, and now these two teams were paired for a rematch in the semifinals. But don't forget, Marquette and Kansas were there. Next up, the semifinals, including that epic Bruin-Wolfpack game from 1974, right after this.
Both coaches tried to settle their team's nerves. There were a few bright points. Settle for Kansas. Lucas for Marquette. Greenlee for the Jayhawks. Lucas for the Warriors. Coach Ted Owens' Jayhawks took a 24-23 halftime lead, mostly because their 9-for-25 chill period was shorter than Marquette's 9-for-28. Jayhawk Roger Morningstar's 2 field goals, sandwiched around teammates Rick Suttle's timely baskets, provided that 1-point margin going into the locker room. Volatile coach Al McGuire of Marquette must have really given his players a piece of his mind, for the Warriors came back on the court for the second period, prepared to dictate the action of the game. Suttle single-handedly kept KU ahead for the first few minutes. But Lloyd Walton's steal off Tom Cavisto gave Marquette a go-ahead layup, 30-29. Marcus Washington looped in a key jumper. Bo Ellis picked up a free throw at the 15-minute mark. And Walton stole another pass 23 seconds later. The Jayhawks seemed to be losing their poise. Coach Owens tried to fire them up, but it was to no avail. Marcus Washington's 13 second-half points, combined with a 24-18 Marquette rebounding advantage and 9 Kansas turnovers, was the story of the second half. Coach McGuire concentrated on keeping fresh defensive men on Jayhawk guard Tom Cavisto.
Keep a lot of pressure on Cavisto. He's starting to tire. He should start turning the ball over.
The Marquette tactic? To establish a smooth but confusing rhythm and force KU to play Marquette's game. And it worked. The Warriors slowly pulled ahead and won the game going away, 64-51. Washington, Lucas, and Tatum all ended the game for Marquette in double figures, while KU's Rick Suttle was high man for the game with 19 points. But the real attraction at Greensboro was now about to get underway. The dramatic matchup between the top 2 teams in the country, North Carolina State and UCLA. The Bruins were a dynasty, a legend. No one had ever won 7 national basketball championships in a row before them, and UCLA was now going for its 8th. The Bruins had an amazing one-loss record going for them, stretching back over 5 years. They had intimidated many fine teams on this basis alone. But it was clear that the North Carolina State Wolfpack was not going to be intimidated. 7-foot-4-inch center Tom Burleson's attitude showed how fired up the team was. UCLA was led by All-American Bill Walton and was looking again to handle this North Carolina State team, which it had beaten so convincingly 3 months earlier, the Wolfpack's only loss. But it became clear right from the start that this game was going to be a different story. Among the dramatic matchups was Keith Wilkes and Dave Thompson, Bill Walton and Tom Burleson. And it was on these matchups that the game turned. The Pack matched UCLA point for point for the first 6 minutes of play. Team's alert ball handling forced Burleson into foul trouble, upsetting the Wolfpack strategy. Playing inspired ball and collapsing state zone, UCLA pulled ahead, 19-14 at 8:39.
Help back in there. He gets some long jumpers. He's not that good a shooter. Beat him up and down the floor now. Horse and boards, Philip. Let's go. Come on, man.
But David Thompson sparked the Pack to a sustained rally to go ahead of the fired-up Bruins, 35-33. State held for the last shot of the period. But the Bruins spoiled their bid and took it themselves on a last-second 20-footer to carry them into the locker room in a 35 all time.